your turn.
Hey guys, it's S Question 4 here at Otaku Fest, and I'm here with the lovely Kara Edwards. How are you?
I'm excited to see you.
I know.
We've known each other a really long time, and I think this is actually the first time that we've done something like this together.
Yes, surprisingly.
And I'm excited too, because I was a very last minute guest to Miami. I found out less than 24 hours before I was on an airplane. They said, do you want to go to Miami and meet some fans? And I said, heck yeah. And I jumped on an airplane, and then I sat on the airplane for like 4 hours. And then I got to fly here.
Well, it was totally worth it, wasn't it?
Totally worth it. I'm having a blast.
Awesome. I'm glad you are. Yeah. And I have a few questions, some asked by fans and also some that I've came up with.
Okay.
How did you get the role in Dragon Ball in the first place?
Oh, that's a great story. So I was a little bitty baby, and I was like a teenager. I was teaching inline skating classes, and you guys might know it as rollerblading. This was a long time ago. And a guy in my class said, hey, do you want to work in radio? I was going to school for broadcast journalism at the time, and I was like, you know what? Yeah. It turned out it was a radio station called Radio Disney. And I worked with Kyle Hebert.
I was going to say that,
Yes. So he went by the name Squeege, and it was the Squeege and Kara show. We were live on board the Intergalactic Boombox for the Friday Night Pajama-rama. And we were on the air reading a newspaper. It was this thing a long time ago where they used to write things on paper and send it to your house. There was an ad in the newspaper looking for people who could do cartoon voices. Kyle actually talked me into going down to the audition. It was my first voiceover audition.
Wow.
I ended up booking it, and it was my first voice acting job. And the show was this little thing you've never heard of called Dragon Ball Z. So that was actually my first gig, and that's how I got it. It was from an ad in the newspaper, which would literally never happen today.
I know. Now you just, they have listings online. That's literally how they find you, social media. That's crazy. That's awesome. Yeah. I did not know it was from the newspaper.
From a newspaper. And from literally just being right place, right time.
Yes.
And I never dreamed that it was going to be something that was this cool. And I told my mom, because I got the gig and I'm recording, I'm like, so Mom, I think this might actually be a big deal. And she was like, sure, honey. Yeah, whatever. And then 2 years later, when her coworkers were asking me for my autograph, I was like, yeah.
See? Actually, that kind of goes into my next question. Did you expect Dragon Ball to be such a phenomenon that it is today?
No. So when we started, it had a cult following.
Yeah.
And so we knew that there were fans, and we would get to go to anime conventions, and we would get to meet fans. And so that absolutely I knew was a thing. I think the most surreal moment for me, and I mean it would be more for Sean, but it was for me too, was that when Goku was in the Macy's Thanksgiving parade, I remember having this moment of oh my God, we're on another level now. And I kept saying, we're SpongeBob now. We're now in the My Little Pony. It was fun to watch it go from where people would say, okay, you're a voice actor, what's something you've done? And I would say Dragon Ball Z. And initially it was oh, I've never heard of it.
Right.
And that literally hasn't happened in 5 years.
Wow.
Where it's and it could be the most obscure, never seen anime in their life. And they're well, yeah, I've heard of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, exactly. It's they won't know anime, but they know Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, and it's crazy. That, knowing that there's now a legacy that my kid can tell his friends about, and it's amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
I can't imagine it. It really is so surreal. And when I did see the Macy's Day Parade float, I teared up looking at that.
It was so crazy. So it's really fun. I think this was last year or the year before. I was actually in New Mexico on vacation over Thanksgiving, and we were in this roadside motel with a 1980s big television that had the rabbit ears on it still.
Oh, wow.
And we got the Macy's, we got the parade up and running.
Nice.
And because I'm now also in Hello Kitty super style, and so there was this thing where multiple things were going by that I was I'm in that. and I'm in that.
That's
And
so
that
cool.
it was really cool.
And that's so exciting. I can't imagine like how far you've come as well. That's great.
I've been really, really lucky.
Do you think Videl should have had more fighting roles? Yes.
Yes. Yes. God. Where did my girl go? Okay, so of all of my characters across all genres and shows, I feel like Videl is me. Like she's the character that I identify with the most. Really? That I can literally read her lines and go, she wouldn't say that because I wouldn't say that.
Wow.
So we need to switch that up.
That's great.
And because I just I get her. She and I have the same drive. When I voiced Battle of Gods,
right,
and she announces her pregnancy with Pan,
yes,
I was pregnant with my son.
Wow, no
way! I cried and cried. Like I literally feel like she and I have grown up together because I wasn't that much older than her when I started voicing her. And now we're both moms, and now we're both I literally feel like she and I are parallel. So when what has bothered me is in the superheroes movie. Is when at the end when Pan was in danger and she was shopping, and as a mom I'm like, that woman was not shopping. That woman knew her child had an issue, and that I love anything Videl does, but I would love to see her come back and show the world again. Like, there's a reason she knew how to fly. There's a reason that she could stand up and fight Spopovich. That one went off. But but she does have that power within her. And I think the fans would love to see it. I'm a fan, and I want to see her come back strong. So.
Yes. I mean, she has so much unlocked, I feel like, just like Gohan, in a different way. She has some unlocked potential there, because she really kept her own with Spopovich, even though that was such a brutal fight.
It was such a brutal fight, but she still did. I mean, she fought that fight. Like, there's so much grit, and I got to voice that twice. So there's
iconic moment.
Yeah, it's so great. And what was funny about the Spopovich fight was I voiced it the first time in Dragon Ball Z, and because we were analog back then and voicing to a VHS tape, it was really hard, and I had to do a lot of that in one single take. Wow. And so I had this memory of it where I cried, and it was so physically, mentally difficult for me. And so we came back to do it in Kai, and I had this memory built up of okay, I got to get in there and voice this thing. And for some reason, probably I was more experienced, and it was not the memory that I had the first time. And I was
really?
Oh, okay. So, I mean, it wasn't that brutal.
Wow. Yeah, that's right. You did go back and you did it again.
I have dubbed Dragon Ball Z twice.
Wow.
So
that's so cool.
It's really cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, honestly, that's one of the moments that stick out to me so much, and one of the most brutal fights in all of Dragon Ball was
Well, and that's where we see her vulnerability, and you can come fight me on this, but I believe that Videl is the most three-dimensional character in the entire series, because we do see her vulnerability, we do see her fall in love, we do see her have a child and defend her husband. We see her learn to fly and overcome being a plain old earthling, and she has these dimensions to her that a lot of other characters don't.
Yeah, and you kind of just see her evolution as well,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
no, I love her.
Love it. Awesome. Another question that I was always very curious about. So how come you did not voice Videl in GT?
Yeah, great question. It will plague me for the rest of my life. I want them to redo GT just because of that mistake.
Yeah.
So during the recording of Dragon Ball Z, I actually took a job in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I co-hosted a morning show in Charlotte for many years. And while I was co-hosting that show, I was having to fly back and record Dragon Ball Z because I was still under contract. So I would do the morning show Monday through Friday, get on an airplane, fly back, record over the weekend, go back on Sunday, be back on the air at 5 a.m. Monday morning.
Gosh, you're busy.
And it was kind of killing me. Yeah. And so when GT came up, Chris Sabat and I had a very long talk about it. And he was like, Videl's barely in it. This thing is over. We're done. There's not going to be anything beyond this. We really did believe that, guys. We really did believe it.
Wow.
And he was like, "You're in it so little. Is it even worth?" Because I had to pay my own plane tickets. Nobody flew me back.
Really?
And I lost so much money recording Dragon Ball Z, which is the greatest irony of all. But I like it actually cost me a lot of money to finish the show. And so by the time GT came out, I was just like, you know what? He and I had a whole conversation. He's like, Videl's a mom. You know what? We can change it. And I was like, I mean, if it's over, it's fine.
And
I regret it. Like, I regret it to my soul and my bones and every fiber of my being. I would never have done that if I had known what this was going to be.
Yeah.
Never.
I know. Well, honestly, I noticed it. I noticed it.
They're going to wrestle Videl out of my cold, dead hands one day because I am Goten. Like, I will never make that mistake again unless they just tell me I'm not allowed in that booth.
Wow.
These are my part of me.
And it's so interesting that he was like, "Oh, it's over. It's nothing else."
We really believed it, guys. We really, really believed it was over, and we were wrong. Thank goodness.
Yes.
I hope it is never, ever, ever over. Ever over.
Same here. I really don't want it to be over ever.
Never.
So you voiced both a strong female fighter and a Saiyan boy. What's the biggest challenge in switching between those roles?
No. Okay. So, great question. So again, like I said before, I really do see Videl as an extension of myself.
Right.
And so like that's like if I would say it, she would say it. If she would do it, I would do it. And that's very, very simple for me. Goten was always a little bit of an enigma for me. And I just saw him as this like, oh, he's just a silly boy. But then I had a boy. And as my son has grown, if you notice, Goten's voice changes a little bit when we get to Dragon Ball Super.
Yes.
That's because my son by then was talking. And I started realizing like he wasn't a real little boy. Two things happened. Vocally, that was going to be nearly impossible for me to maintain for the rest of my life. Vocally, that voice was really hard.
Yeah.
And I got permission to change his voice, but I wanted him to sound like a real 7-year-old little boy, because in my head he's a 7-year-old little boy. And so I changed his voice to be a little bit higher and honestly to sound a little bit more like my own kid. And he sometimes I rewrite scripts, or if where necessary and where it makes sense, we'll rewrite things to be things that my kid is saying at the time. Like he has a little catchphrase that's kind of new where he goes, awesome.
Yes.
That's from my son.
Oh, so cute.
Yeah, so that's how I really see is like the juxtaposition for me is Videl is me, Goten is my son.
Wow.
Videl is my extension, Goten is my legacy to my child.
Wow.
So in my brain, that's how I can switch so quickly between them.
That's great. And it's also interesting how you kind of evolved within your personal life as well with Dragon Ball and how, you can relate more to certain characters because of what's happening in your life.
Oh, absolutely.
It's crazy. I love that.
No, absolutely. It truly is like it's not just a character for me. It's more than that.
Yeah.
It's so much more than that.
Part of you now.
Yeah, literally.
Do you have a favorite memory while voice acting for Dragon Ball?
Oh my God.
It's a hard one.
Oh, that's like the impossible one. I do.
Yeah.
I actually do.
Awesome.
My favorite memory was meeting the Japanese cast.
Yes.
And I met almost all of them.
In amazement, right?
Yeah.
I remember that.
Amazement. It's on YouTube if you guys want to see something incredible. Probably the most powerful weekend of my life.
So cool.
And meeting, because I met both the voice of Goten and the voices of Videl.
Yes.
And Yuko and I had this bond, this instant, the voice of Videl that we grew up with. And like, she shaped so much of my life by her acting and her voice. And she is such an inspiration for me.
Really is.
That when I met her, it's on YouTube. We were asked, like, what is it like to meet each other? And of course, I give a long rambling answer, shocker, about just what she means to me. And when they asked her, what's it like to meet Kara? She said, when I met Kara, I knew I had met my family.
Wow.
And you'll see me spin around in the video because the tears.
Oh my. I can imagine.
And
that
it's
moment.
still like I'll still cry when I tell the story.
Oh my gosh.
It's that to me was this moment of like you just realize, like, and I just did a panel with like some of the Spanish voice actors, and like the cross cultural like coming together of voices, of families, of fans. Like, that's the part of this that is bigger than life. That's the part of this that will never be replaced by an AI robot.
That's 100% true. Yes.
It's the connections.
You can only have those kind of connections in person, you know?
Absolutely.
That's amazing. And I did see that on YouTube.
Oh my
I
God.
did. That's why I said that.
Living through that was
So
literally
cool.
so powerful. So powerful. Okay, great story. At the convention, Battle of Gods had just come out. We had not dubbed it yet. And I had a Battle of Gods poster, and I had the entire Japanese cast sign it. And I was like, this is a keepsake beyond all keepsakes. So the convention offered to ship it to my house, and I said, there's no way I'm leaving this to, FedEx or UPS or anybody else. So I took it on the airplane with me, and I was so tired because the weekend had been so big and overwhelming that I left it on the airplane. I should not admit this on camera.
Really?
I left it on the airplane.
No way.
And in my head, I have this dream where the world's biggest fan happened to be on that plane and saw that poster and framed it, because I cannot stand the thought that it is in a trash can.
Oh, I hope
So,
not. I hope not.
So this would have been many years ago. But dear fan, if you have it hanging on your wall, please, it's okay. You just keep it. Just worship it.
That's a crazy story.
That's terrible.
Oh my gosh, I would have been crying.
I did, actually. I called the airport every day for a month.
Wow. They probably were like, oh, we're keeping this one.
Dang, it's the worst ever.
But she really is amazing. Like, she's a great voice actress as well. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I love, she also did Pan as well.
Yep.
Videl Pan. Is it just Videl and Pan?
Again, that's another regret that I have, is I would have loved the opportunity to have voiced Pan. Of course, I went on to Elise and Janine, and they're amazing, and that you don't take anything away from that. But I've always wondered, had I still been living in Dallas, would there have been the opportunity to do what they did in Japan, and that I could have also been Pan? I don't know. Things work out the way that they're supposed to work out. But that's another one of those like life, not regrets, just moments of like, woo, what would that have been like?
Right? In the alternate universe, you never know what.
Yeah, because I voice little girls all the time. Wow. So it would be interesting, but that ship has sailed and it has gone to their great hands, so it's all fine.
That's interesting though, to like see how your take would have been, you know?
It would be
That's so
fun.
cool. Dragon Ball has meant so much to so many generations of fans. Has it impacted your life personally?
I mean, in all ways. In every way. Nothing about my life would be what it is today without Dragon Ball Z. Literally nothing. I wouldn't have the friends that I have. And guys, when we say that the Dragon Ball cast is a family, like, we've put this to the test. When one of us needs something, the others step up in ways that would blow your mind, and we defend each other, and we are there for each other. All the way across the board. Like we would not let somebody tear one of our people down. And so, like, it brought a family to me that even though we might not be blood related, like they are my family. And without Dragon Ball, like, I wouldn't have that. I wouldn't have the fan connections. I've gotten to have unbelievable moments with fans where they come and tell me very personal stories.
Wow.
And how various characters that I've gotten to be a part of have impacted their lives. And like hearing those stories, like, I absorb all of that, and it makes me want to do more and more and more.
It's amazing. Yeah. And I have that same kind of like connection with other fans as well. It's a big community, and it's like
such a community.
Some of my really great friends I have met through Dragon Ball. So without it, I don't even know where I'd be. So
that's amazing. See,
I love it.
See, it changed all of our lives.
Oh, awesome! Thank you so much for being part of this.
This was fun. Thank you. It's so good. I'm gonna hug you.
Yes. I love catching up with you whenever I can.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Hey, it's Pan from Dragon Ball GT, and you're watching my good friend SSJ Goshen 4. Yeah!